All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, so there's a bit of a backlash about Joe Satriani trying to fill in for Eddie Van Halen on this Best of All Worlds tour. If some of you missed this, I understand because it was Howard Stern, right? And Howard Stern is like pay-per-view now. You got to have a membership to satellite radio. And I was never a fan of the Howard Stern show. He went from being a perv to being a very narcissistic individual. And I think he now combines all of those things. But, he does interview some pretty important people from time to time. So Joe Satriani dropped in on Howard Stern last fall with the rest of his bandmates and attempted to play Mean Street, which is just one of the sickest, craziest songs. If you grew up with Van Halen, Mean Street was like next level. If you could play the beginning part to Mean Street, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you could have started your own band at that point if you could play that. Sammy Hagar labeled Mean Street a track that is impossible to play, and supposedly now is the biggest stumbling block for Joe. Will they even perform Mean Street out there on this upcoming tour? But Joe says, look, I really screwed up on this, which hurt like a thorn in my side, but I'll get over it. Now, they went on to say in the interview that Joe Satriani was being a little bit hard on himself. And what's interesting is Michael Anthony is out there now having to defend Joe over this one issue. And by the way, he went on and played 5150 with the whole band kind of joining in, and it was so cool. I mean, that was, the goosebumps on top of goosebumps when these guys kicked in, and you kind of felt like this was, Van Hagar, and it kind of is basically. So anyway, Michael Anthony wants Van Halen fans to wait a bit before criticizing Joe Satriani. And he's talking here about the whole Mean Street thing. He says, yeah, I think I remember reading on Instagram, somebody had commented like that and was wondering about, what Joe did and how he screwed up and all that. And apparently Michael Anthony answered back and said, well, wait till we have a couple of rehearsals under our belt and then check it out then. Because that was basically the first time that Joe probably ever played that. He was probably just kind of going off of memory. If you go listen to it, you're going to say, that's really good for a guy who's playing off of memory. And I have this picture of Joe Satriani, not literally, but figuratively, going back home after that and just breaking out the guitar and saying, okay, I'm going to reverse engineer this song. That's what I'm sure he's doing it with all the Eddie songs. He's reverse engineering, going backward through the song and then playing it forward and trying to figure out, how did he do this? And if anybody can do it, I think Professor Joe can do it. That's my own personal opinion. By the way, Michael, again, defending Joe when he was in Chickenfoot, says, Joe's such a polished guy and pays attention to detail. In Chickenfoot, I don't think I ever heard him play a wrong note when we played live. So I'm sure once he gets in there and he starts working all that stuff out, it's going to be fine. And obviously, he's not going to play it exactly like Eddie, and we don't expect him to because he's Joe. Of course, there's certain lines and certain melodies that he'll have to play because that's something that's trademarked to the song. I'm thinking like Eruption, he's going to have to play that for sure. But I'm looking forward to hearing Joe's spin on all the Van Halen stuff. And we know Wolfie doesn't play his dad's stuff unless he's out there with the Foo Fighters doing something, and he might play Hot for Teacher. By the way, Nuno, I can't believe Nuno chimed in. Nuno Bettencourt defended Satriani against the backlash. Really, there's a backlash after his performance on Howard Stern. The one thing that I learned recently of seeing Joe or anybody, me, Joe, anybody, if we're going to take a risk and we're going to play an Edward thing, especially on Howard Stern or anything like that, where you know you can't get it back, good luck. That's all I'm saying is good luck. Why? Because now you're going into hallowed ground. It's so hallowed that they still haven't done a tribute to Ed. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, yes, this thing coming up, it's kind of like a tribute, right? Best of all worlds. It should say Best of all worlds, a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. That's what it should say. It's easy to do that unless somebody somewhere in the Van Halen camp doesn't want that being said. That would be my guess. Anyway, Nuno says here that he was mad at Sammy Hagar. So look, you got to give Joe a bit of a pass on this one because it's Joe doing Edward. He said, I'm more pissed at Sammy for allowing him to do it. Because Sammy's like, man, that's why I got Joe. Nobody can do this stuff. All right. So I don't know why I'm trying to read into this. I guess he's mad because he told, Joe to try to do Mean Street on Howard Stern without, any rehearsal or reverse engineering. But if anyone, again, can figure out these songs, it's Joe Satriani. I would be very excited if I were going to this tour. I am not. Tickets are a little out of my range. They are over on the East Coast, and it would be kind of cool to take a day trip over there and enjoy a few Sammy Hagar style beverages there. But it is what it is, folks. I just, I'm sort of a simple guy and I like to stay close to home. But, if Sammy wanted to send me, if Joe or Michael, I've seen Chickenfoot already. So I've seen pretty much all those guys. I've seen everybody who's in this band. It's like a Chickenfoot reunion, except it's a different drummer. Now they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer in Chickenfoot, and now they have Jason Bonham. Jason Bonham is a beast. That's another drummer that could have been on that list that I covered the other day. People, because his dad, they're not going to put the two things together. But if you hear Sammy Hagar talk about Jason, he always says Jason is just, he says he's like his dad. All right. And that's coming from Sammy Hagar. Anyway, before I go, a little plug for this album here. These are the Crows. Not to be confused with the Black Crows, the Counting Crows, or the 70s band known as Crow, all right? The album is called Ready When You Are. It is kind of 70s and 80s together, great harmonies, great vocals, really great hooks as well. Like, there are good melodies, like full, complete melodies here, and the production value is very good. This is courtesy of Lion's Pride Music. So check out The Crows. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Also, don't forget to check out my friends over on Modern Retro Radio. Holy crap, Batman. What a great radio station. You got to go listen. Modern Retro Radio. Just Google it. I think it's modernretrofm.com if my brain is working and functioning properly. But if I screwed that up, I'm sure you could still find it. And thanks for finding me. My name is Dave. Thanks for all the support. Please continue to support this channel via Patreon and also YouTube memberships and Buy Me a Coffee, which apparently all the Eric Clapton fans really like Buy Me a Coffee. So that's cool. Buy me a coffee. Yeah, I'll take it. Starbucks. How much do they charge for coffee over at Starbucks? Baseline, like just the cheapest thing, and it all tastes like battery acid, right? So I may take the coffee money and go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just telling you, maybe I can still buy, a medium rather than the small, thanks to all the support here. God bless everyone. Please pray for peace in the Middle East and around the world as things are crazy right now over in the Middle East. And war is hell. War is not the answer to the problem. Peace. The Prince of Peace says peace is better than war. That's for sure. All right. I'm done. See you soon.